As I pulled up to Moe's on Charlotte Boulevard, I still wasn't sure why my older sister Catherine wanted me to install microcams in my glasses. So far, my sister's notes had been correct. This, however, was just weird. I walked into the bar, ordered a drink, and sat in the corner waiting. After about 30 minutes, I decided it was time to leave. I stood up and walked to the door, but I stopped in my tracks when the manager made an announcement that changed my life. Hi, my name is Carson. Like and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so you will know when new stories are uploaded. Now, let's get back to my story. Catherine and I have always been close. Being the younger sibling, my sister was a role model to me, so it was no surprise that I wanted to go to the same college she did. After she graduated and I received my acceptance letter to the university, our parents were ecstatic. My sister was moving away to start an internship at her dream job, and as Dad packed her car, she knocked on my bedroom door.
Hey Carson, can I come in?
That depends. I raised my eyebrows. Do you have any snacks? Catherine tossed me a candy bar, walked into my room, and sat on my bed. In her hand was a pile of pages, held together by ribbon. So how can I help you? I bit into the candy bar.
I just wanted to give you my college notes. These notes really helped me, so I'm passing them on to you.
She handed me the notes and I inspected them suspiciously. So you couldn't use a notebook? I chuckled. Catherine laughed.
You know I'm not a neat freak like you are. Just trust me on this. These notes will help you. Have I ever steered you wrong?
Well, I scratched my head. Catherine threw a pillow at my head and laughed.
I'll miss you, Carson. Promise to message me every day, okay?
I nodded. Catherine and I shared a hug before Dad yelled up the stairs that if she didn't leave now, she would miss the plane. Catherine ruffled my hair, kissed my forehead, and left my room. Before I attended college, I sifted through Catherine's notes. It was quite ingenious. Catherine created cheat sheets for each professor on campus. Their likes, dislikes, allergies, hobbies, addresses. I should have thought about this in high school, I thought to myself as I read the notes. Once at college, I shared a room with a guy named Adam. We liked a lot of the same things and we got along pretty well. As I moved through the semester, guided by Catherine's notes, I was able to build strong relationships with my professors, and of course, keep a 3.8 grade point average. During my second year in college, I decided to try and get through on my own merit instead of using Catherine's guide. This, however, turned out to be a grave mistake, since two of my professors resorted to giving me D's on my last two assignments. I walked into my dorm room and slammed my bag on the desk.
Let me guess.
Adam looked up from his phone.
You got another D from Professor Damon, didn't you?
I thought I had that in the bag. I can't afford to get any more D's if I want to maintain my grade point average. I tried everything to get those two professors to like me, but it was all in vain. Adam shook his head.
Your problem is you've been trying to get the wrong people to like you. Professor Damon and Professor Jackson don't correct their papers, their teaching assistants do. So they're the ones you should be targeting to get your grades up.
That night, while Adam was asleep, I pulled out Catherine's notes. Her notes warned that Professor Damon's teaching assistant, Miss Foster, and Professor Jackson's teaching assistant, Miss Phillips, were not easily swayed and were tough markers. The instructions to handle these two teaching assistants was to head to Charlotte Boulevard, wear glasses, and place microcams on it. That's where you met me at the story, about to leave the bar when the manager made an announcement.
Now is the time you've all been waiting for. Let's welcome Candy and Jasmine.
The patrons at the bar hooted and screamed as Miss Foster and Miss Jackson walked out from the back in extremely short crop tops and shorts. If I didn't know they were teaching assistants at the college, I would never have guessed it. Without the tight buns and suits, they were gorgeous. I watched in amusement as Candy and Jasmine entertained the patrons by doing tricks while pouring drinks and getting the patrons involved. After about 30 minutes, when I thought I gathered enough leverage and footage for blackmail to get myself an A, I left. I know what you're thinking, that I'm a horrible person for even thinking about doing this. But trust me, in life sometimes, you need to embrace the opportunities as they come. The following week, I had assignments for both professors. After I handed the assignments in during class, I was able to corner both Miss Foster and Miss Jackson in the parking lot. Hi, good afternoon, ladies. I nodded at the both of them.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bell. Can we help you with something?
Miss Foster looked me over. I just wanted to let you know that I expect A's on both my papers this time.
You'll get straight A's if you put in the work.
Miss Jackson sounded amused. They began to walk away and I blocked their path. No, you see, I have put in the work, but yet still I can't seem to hit that A.
You are Catherine Bell's brother, correct?
Miss Foster asked. That I am,
Well, you deserve your D's.
Miss Jackson responded. She turned to Miss Foster.
Let's go.
As they walked away, I called after them. Last Saturday, I went to Moe's on Charlotte Boulevard. Do you know the place? They stopped and I smiled. They slowly turned around. I knew you would see it my way. I pulled my phone out of my pocket and approached them. I played a part of the video before looking at them. You both know what will happen if I don't see grades B+ and above on my remaining assignments. They both nodded. Now that we have an understanding, have a beautiful afternoon, ladies. My life was perfect. My parents were proud that I was doing so well at college. I told them that Catherine helped me every step of the way. That Christmas, my parents bought me a new car. They reminded me to keep pushing forward and that hard work will always pay off. In the new year, in an attempt to preserve the tattered pages of Catherine's notes, I decided to get them bound into a book. There was a bookstore about 2 blocks from campus, so I decided to head there. Hello, I called as I entered the empty store. An elderly man came from the back room.
Hi, what can I do for you?
Hi, I have these notes from school that I'd like to bind. I handed him the notes.
Okay, sure. Which school do you attend?
After answering his question, I asked how long it would take to get it done.
The young man who helps me in the store stepped away for a few minutes. He'll be back shortly.
The gentleman looked through the notes. I actually have a few errands. Can I come back in a few hours?
Sure, no problem. It'll be ready by then.
I thanked the man and left the store. After completing my errands, I returned to the store. This time, the elderly man was behind the counter. Hi, were you able to bind my notes?
Sorry, kid. The young man had a family emergency and needed to leave.
That's okay, I'll just take my notes back and I'll come back another day.
Sure, let me get them for you.
The man disappeared to the back. He returned a few minutes later with a solemn face.
I can't seem to find them.
My face turned pale. What do you mean you can't find them? You lost my notes?
There must be a logical reason.
Well, obviously notes don't just grow legs and walk away. I rubbed my temples in frustration. I should have never brought the notes in. Now I lost them. Catherine would be furious.
Let me call him and see if he placed it somewhere else.
I nodded in agreement. I watched as the man called, but he didn't say anything.
Sorry, he's not answering. It's going straight to voicemail. I'm so sorry. This never happened before.
The man thought for a bit.
I think you both go to the same college.
He rubbed his chin. Something clicked in my mind. If he went to the same college as I did, then he probably stole my notes when he realized what they were. Can I have the person's name? Maybe I'll see him on campus.
His name is Mateo Robinson.
I groaned inwardly. Mateo and I crossed a few paths in our first year. I didn't like the guy. He was rude and obnoxious to everyone he met. How was I supposed to get my notes back from him? I thanked the man and exited the store. As soon as I entered the dorm room, I fell onto my bed face first.
What's your problem?
Adam asked. I rolled over and proceeded to tell Adam everything. He sat and listened silently until I was finished.
So, you mean to say you've had cheat sheets this entire time?
Adam raised a brow. Bro, you're the smartest guy I know. You have a 4.0 average. You didn't need any cheat sheets. Adam stroked his chin.
While that may be true, you could have still told me. Am I not your friend?
Adam asked dramatically. I laughed. I need to come up with a plan to get back my notes from Mateo. Adam and I decided that Mateo probably had the notes at home since he didn't live on campus. We recruited Zoe, Adam's twin sister, into the plan. She said she would do it for a fee, but she didn't want to know anything else, just in case we were planning something illegal. An agreement was made and everything was set. Zoe's part of the plan was to get Mateo to ask her on a date. Once the date was confirmed, she had to let Adam and I know so we could search his apartment. After about 3 days, Adam got the confirmation call. Adam and I drove to Mateo's house, and as soon as Zoe told us they were together, Adam picked the lock and we began our search. This is useless, I whispered fiercely as I searched through the contents of Mateo's wardrobe. 15 minutes had already gone, and I didn't want to stay there much longer.
I found something.
Adam handed me a piece of paper from Mateo's desk. This is a resignation letter, I read, confused.
Check the date.
Adam pointed to the paper. This doesn't make any sense. If he resigned, then…
Then it means the old man lied to you, and he had the notes all along.
Early next morning, I confronted the elderly man. You lied to me. The man laughed. I want my notes back now.
I took a look at your notes. It appeared you had a nice thing going there, yet still, you kept it to yourself.
Just give me my notes.
I'm not giving you anything.
The man glared.
And if you have a problem, you can call the police. I'm sure you've blackmailed at least one teacher from these notes already.
My face turned red.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a store to run.
I walked out of the store feeling defeated. Monday morning, I saw a couple of students reading something, but I didn't pay much attention to it till Adam handed me a copy. What's this? I looked at Adam confused.
Read it,
he said impatiently. As I read through the document, I felt my chest tighten and my head become light. It was my sister's notes. The old man took my notes, copied it, and sold it to the students at the college. Catherine is going to kill me.
With great power comes great responsibility, bro.
I called Catherine and told her what happened. She explained that now that everyone has the cheat sheet, if overused, it could lead to investigations and her name being called. I promised her that I would keep things under control, and she had nothing to worry about. Over the next few weeks, in my free time, I took notes of the elderly man's movements. His name was Fred Miller. He had a wife, May, and he had been married to her for over 30 years. However, Mr. Miller enjoyed certain extracurricular activities that I was positive his wife wouldn't have approved of. "Good afternoon, Mr. Miller." I walked into the store and greeted him. He looked across at me a bit shocked as he continued to deal with his customer. "Will May be going to her book club tonight? I think she needs to stay off her foot for a bit longer, don't you?" I watched as Mr. Miller excused himself from the customer and came over to me.
How do you know about my wife and her foot?
"I have my ways." I smiled as I continued. "Do you want me to drop you off at the Triple Palm Motel tonight to meet Linda, since your car is by the mechanic?" Mr. Miller was about to respond but decided against it. "Now you will go to the back and get every single copy that you made, as well as the original copy." He nodded and walked to the back. He returned a few moments later with the documents. "And if I see or hear that anyone has purchased a copy of this, I will send it to your wife and daughter, Henriette. Do I make myself clear?" Mr. Miller nodded. I smiled and exited the store. I invited every person who purchased a copy of the notes to a meeting. I was amazed at the number of students who turned up. Moving forward, we decided that everyone's name would go on a list, and the teacher would give us all nothing less than a B+. Instead of each person approaching certain teachers at different times, we made a pact to keep this a secret between us in order to protect ourselves. Needless to say, everything worked out well for the students and the college. The year I graduated, our college had the highest GPA in the country. That's the end of my story. But here's a final question I have for you viewers. If given the opportunity to get cheat notes on your teachers, would you use them? Comment your answers down below.